Switch of the field, though. This is Callie Best. I don't even think I've caught my breath yet. Have you, Joe Dugan?
I haven't, listening to you.
This is Madison.
But it's fun. It's exciting. Keep it up, Charles.
And now Jennings and a switch of the field there.
But you're right. Gonzaga releases the ball very, very quickly. They're not trying to build up in midfield. Yes, they go through midfield, but they're really one-touching it high and wide to the flanks, trying to get forward as fast as possible.
3-0 for Gonzaga last weekend against St. Mary's, and their center back Ariana Pumpoli scored the second goal for them in that game, which effectively kind of won them the game in the 16th minute. It was quite a goal from the outside. I actually asked Chris Watkins about that, and he said he wants to invite his players to take lots of shots from outside the 18, and he said there should be a lot more of that tonight. I want to be able to kind of get that under my players' belts. Now, a giveaway here. Here's the leading goal scorer, Jenks. Jenks on her horse back to the left side, looking to switch the field. Not the best of touches, but brought down right in front of the San Francisco back line. Pumpoli, who we just spoke about there, giving the ball away, and now Madison on her horse looks to go the other way.
Micaiah Madison there really uncharacteristically loses the ball to a soft giveaway in midfield. Usually you see her much higher up the field or wider in the flank, not in those precarious positions where she can lose the ball.
A little bit of a lazy ball there by McKenna Ferreira, the holding midfield player, just in front of that back four. They like her sitting right in front of that back four, doing the defensive work in front of Sophia Braun and Sophia Viviano for this Gonzaga side. Out of the back, it's Cat Hill. A nice ball over the top by Cat Hill. I don't think Micaiah Madison was really on her horse there, though. And all the way back to the goalkeeper, Isabel Jones.
But that's the type of play that USF is trying to utilize out of the back, building the play up from the fullbacks directly to Samantha Jennings' feet, out to a midfielder, and then into the flanks with Micaiah Madison's speed.
Smithers, again, she scored the equalizer, a very important equalizer for San Francisco against Pacific last weekend. This is good 1-2 passing here by Gonzaga. Heilman into the final third, and the referee stops it and pulls it back for a free kick. Corey Carter, the main man today, assisted by Brandon Chapman, who we see a lot of, and Victor Umba. The two assistant referees this evening, two in the wall here for San Francisco, and a free kick to take for Gonzaga. The pace has been, as you said, Joe, absolutely frenetic, off the charts almost. This game is very, very important to both teams. Again, it's just the fifth fixture in the conference, and it does mean a lot because it's almost halfway, and it kind of separates the top four from the rest of the pack here. It's taken by Braun. Into the area, headed on by Jenks, and she didn't put her head down there, and it rises over the bar, but she did get a step on that one.
She absolutely did, and if you watch the replay here, you'll notice the USF goalkeeper really freezes, and that's an excellent ball in no man's land where the goalie can't come out to get it because it's a little bit too far out, but almost got a free header. You can see there, she's just frozen, and then had the Gonzaga forward got a better shot on goal, that could have been a very good opportunity for Gonzaga.
Gonzaga with a better run of play thus far in this opening few minutes. They were actually projected to finish 8th in the conference. San Francisco projected to finish 6th. And now we're here in a clash of probably what's a top 4. This is Cassidy Helenihi, who's dispossessed. Now back to her right foot, and Gonzaga looks to clear their lines. They finally do with their captain.
And that was a good start to a counterattack by Gonzaga, but Gonzaga just could not get by Autumn Smithers, who has always been so consistent and composed in that front line of defense just behind the last line of defense for the USF Dons.
Thrown on in, back to goal is Madison, onto her right foot. Now it's Micaiah.
since she's been here on the hilltop. And then she creates space for herself, taking the ball, as you can see here, up the 18, across the face of the goal to set herself up for a nice shot, but it's blocked well by the Gonzaga defender.
Now Helenihi, who's had a couple touches in this last few moments that have been pretty important. Can she swerve a good cross in? And she does win a corner for her side. Comes off of Callie Best's head here, and Gonzaga will have to get back defensively. In San Francisco, they're going to send quite a few bodies into the box. Just 10 minutes into this match, folks. 0-0 the score. 11th minute. What's been very end-to-end already. Helenihi's cross, met with by Jennings. Weeks' cross. It's Michaela Mercado. Oh, and it's just wide.
And has in Micaiah Madison and herself, because they get forward in that final third so much, and we've seen how many assists by Micaiah Madison coming from the flank, crossing the goal to Samantha Jennings or others.
Crossed on in, and it's right back to the goalkeeper. A little bit nervy there, but she was able to deal with it.
That was a very well struck ball. I thought it was going to be a little bit away from the goalkeeper, but it did go almost directly to her for a fairly easy save.
Weeks onwards, and Pumpely able to step in. Here comes San Francisco with Madison, and now Jennings, who lays off very nicely for Helenihi, whose first ball down the end line for Madison was spectacular. Now Madison, a couple of moves by her, gets to the end line. That's decent shoulder-to-shoulder defending by the captain, Callie Best. She had to be, because Madison beat her a couple of times before she marshaled the ball out for the goal kick.
And it's almost one of those circumstances where she's beating the defender too much. Looks like she clearly had her beat to her right, but she cuts it back to her left, only for the defender to recover and do quite well.
Again, San Francisco has won 10 of 12 meetings here at Negoesco Stadium in the series history between the two sides. Last year, Gonzaga with a 6-2 victory against San Francisco. 2 years ago in this fixture, San Francisco did beat Gonzaga 2-1. Now here's the on-rushing Weeks with speed and space. Off for Teufel. Great on the 1v1. She makes her defender slip, but the defender gets right back up. That's Jody Yuki Cool. Cool as a cucumber. And now Sophia Braun with her ball over the top. She has a little bit of space in front of her, maybe a wasted chance there, collected by Molly Eby. And again, it's just been end-to-end like a metronome, going very, very quickly, almost 120 beats per second,
well,
if you will.
USF did well there to defend that. You might say they were a little bit lucky. Gonzaga did not attack in the counterattack with numbers. So by the time they got forward, they had very few options off the ball.
Here's the senior Michaela Mercado looking for Micaiah Madison. Gets her cross in. Albeit decent defending there. Madison squaring it up for Autumn Smithers. Back to her left-footed. Smithers! Save made by Isabel Jones. And out for a throw-in. But Smithers with an excellent strike. Off on the right, back to the left. And low and on the ground and to the sides.
And for all those kids watching home, that's exactly what you want to do. You want to hit hard and low and on target. And a lot of things can happen. You see the goalie spill that. Unfortunately for USF, they didn't have anybody following that up.
Samantha Jennings, and she wins a corner. It's the second corner for San Francisco now in this opening 16 minutes.
And USF has been very successful in creating goal-scoring opportunities for themselves off these corner kicks. Last game, they must have had almost 11 corner kicks, I believe. And most of these are all design plays that they practice during the week.
It's an excellent service. Top of the area, on for Mercado. And now Helenihi swerves it back in. What a ball over to the right flank there. That's Carly Weeks, and her shot is cut out. Good defending by Gonzaga.
It really was, because that shot was going to go on target.
Good switch of the field here for the Bulldogs. This is Braun. And now on for Heilman. Heilman onto her left. Swerve back in. And Cathill's right there at the last moment to clear away.
And the transition defense for USF is very good. They're getting a lot of numbers behind the ball. And if you notice on the replay here on the counterattack, Gonzaga only has 3 or 4 players up the field. They seem content to leave the 4 or 5 in the back, being a little bit conservative on defense.
Crossed on in. Here is Gonzaga on the front foot. And again, as you said, Joe, it seems to be a quick dispossession and then get right up the field right there.
You're right. It's almost like they're instructed, do not lose the ball in midfield, which is a good instruction, but that's where a lot of the engine work comes from. That's where a lot of the creativity comes from, switching the field of play. But very, very quick in the midfield, Gonzaga is.
I like to play out of the back there, as you can see. A very firm ball back to the goalkeeper, Isabel Jones, who was able to deal with it on the first touch. So very much like San Francisco, they try to play out of the back. And of course, Chris Watkins kind of learning his trade at BYU, playing some great football, great soccer. Kalena Teufel swerving the ball in on the right flank. Jennings at the end line. Surely a foul there, not called by the referee though. Fair play. Cat Hill over the top, looking for Teufel, who's offside.
Well, it's interesting, as we've talked about, in the last 10 minutes, this game really has, in a bit, calmed down. It seems to me USF has found their groove a little bit more than Gonzaga. I don't know if Gonzaga's holding their breath, waiting for the second half of the first half, but clearly the momentum is in the USF favor in the last 10 minutes here.
San Francisco with a restart, but taken pretty quickly there. First header won just in front of the back four by Braun. Dispossessed is India Jenks. We got a bit of a bump in the back there by Madison. Some of the fans in the building don't particularly enjoy that call here, as you could hear some boos rain out.
Well, there wasn't much in that for me. You like to see the players play and referee be as little part of the game as possible.
Crossed on in, top of the area here. And here comes Autumn Smithers. Looking to find Samantha Jennings.
Very uncharacteristic of Autumn Smithers to lose the ball right there in the middle of midfield with such a soft pass. Really a great opportunity for USF to counterattack there, only to be depossessed in midfield.
Cleared away by Pumpely, and she has to do a second job there to clear away. Finally, she puts her body to it, gets to it on a third attempt here, and is able to clear. Again, that Pumpely goal from last week was absolutely spectacular. She ran out of her center back position all the way across the field and had to go from just around 25, maybe 27 yards away, and it was top shelf on the left, and definitely a candidate for a potential goal of the year in the conference. As far as I'm concerned, it was really quite a thing of beauty. Gonzaga kind of taking care of their business up until this point. And same thing with San Francisco, so it's really all to do this game. As there's a bit of a lull currently.
Well, both of these teams are showing a lot of confidence. They're happy to play the ball around, trying to keep the ball at their feet, trying to keep possession. Yes, Gonzaga is going forward a little bit faster rather than the USF buildup, but both teams seem very confident. Although USF has had the momentum, there's no lack of confidence on Gonzaga's side.
Here is Madison.
And you can see Gonzaga doing a fine job keeping Micaiah Madison far away from the penalty box. That is a feat unto itself. As I say that, here she goes.
Madison onto her right foot. Ball kind of slips away from her there. San Francisco maintaining possession. Cat Hill up the field now. For Madison again. Left side. Beautiful stuff by Madison. Crossed on in. And another corner coming to San Francisco.
You know, after the first block by the Gonzaga defender, and then the second block, it's like, thought it was lucky, but third block, I think they're pretty darn good at blocking shots within the box.
Cleared away at the near post. A very dangerous ball indeed by Weeks, as Cat Hill was bearing down right there at the first post. Crossed on in, and I think just headed away. Or rather, a San Francisco player did get their head to it, and a goal kick now for Gonzaga.
That was a much, much better serve than the first corner kick. Really good opportunity there. Gonzaga doing well to keep the ball out of the back of the net.
This is Heilman looking for McKenna Ferreira. Cat Hill eventually does clear here.
And more than clear, she finds Micaiah Madison's feet. Really good build-up out of the back by Cat Hill for USF.
Here's Madison. Trying to find the target player, Jennings, who's kind of struggled a little bit this last game against Pacific. Had a tougher game for her.
Well, she was
trying to find her feet.
Sorry, Charles, yes.
In conference play.
She was very active, much more active against Pacific than she had been maybe in the previous game. So that was a good sign, but hadn't got on the score sheet, I don't believe, last game, did she, Charles?
She did not. Here is Weeks for San Francisco. It's Carly Weeks! And it's just over the bar.
And you love that attacking spirit out of Carly Weeks.
She's always keen to attack. Carly Weeks, a player that has so much energy. It looks like she could run 2 or 3 different matches in a row. She's really going to be a fantastic player for San Francisco for years to come. She's just a freshman.
And again, what I love about her is she's always thinking forward. She's always thinking attack, which is great. It's exciting.
Michaela Mercado for Teufel. San Francisco throw. Just around central midfield. 25th minute, 0-0 the score here on the W.TV.
And don't you feel like if there's one goal, there's going to be a couple goals in this game, Charles?
Well, I thought in the first 10 minutes it was probably going to be 4-3 somebody, but...
Well, we've seen that before. We've seen games start very, very fast, only to settle down like this game has.
It has kind of this playoff tournament feel about it.
Well, like you said, there's a lot at stake here. Both teams know it. Both teams want nothing more than a victory here tonight at Naguesco Field.
Here's Madison on the left flank.
And again, this is exactly what Gonzaga is doing well. Look how far away from the box Micaiah Madison is.
Jennings back to goal, trying to find some space. Finally finds it with Teufel. Wants the cross. Dealt with by Pumpoli. Who else? Now Michaela Mercado! And it's just wide again. Just had a feeling that may have skimmed the left post and potentially in. She seems to be due for a goal. Fine effort by the senior.
Let's see if we can get a replay of that. See how close that was to the far post. Wow. Takes it well out of the air, only to skid by that back post. Gonzaga goalkeeper didn't seem phased at all, did she?
Oh, she was very comfortable indeed. Excuse me. Izzy Lucan now in the match for San Francisco. And there has been a Gonzaga change. Brooke Weedman, who scored on the weekend as well in the second half for the Bulldogs with a wonderful through ball. All she had to do was touch it home, but it was a really nice touch. It was on the outside of her right foot. Well taken goal. She's now in the match at the target forward position. So fresh off scoring her goal, gets her opportunity at the number 9 spot. Both teams play a very similar shape, very similar formation, so they're very point, counterpunch, point, etc. Here's Madison, terrific effort. Just outside the 18, Pumpoli marshals away though for a throw.
And that's what you got to love about Micaiah Madison, never giving up on that ball. It looked like she had lost it, only to regain it back and win herself and her team. cross by Weeks. A very good corner kick.
And the service tonight by the freshman has been terrific, odds on, and bothered the goalkeeper a little bit here. Helenihi. Cat Hill. Through ball looking for Jennings. Lucan. Back to goal. Switching the field through the feet of Cat Hill. Weeks. San Francisco continuing to play, connect passes, switch the field, patient. Love the ball at their feet, that's what they're taught.
And this must be at least 10, as I say that, consecutive passes put together by USF. Nice attempted buildup, couldn't quite penetrate that last line of defense of Gonzaga.
Substitution here in the 31st minute. Bethan Perry in the game now for San Francisco. Taylor Kernan now in the match. And Madeline Gata in the game for Gonzaga. Gata will play on the right side of the front three. And Kernan in the midfield three, placing McKenna. This is Smithers looking for Bethan Perry. And now Jenks, the leading scorer of this Gonzaga side. 5 goals already for her this season. 2 assists as well. The junior. Gonzaga have a front three very much like San Francisco in terms of the years of their players. So San Francisco's front three, all juniors. Same thing with Gonzaga. Now here's the junior, Izzy Lucan. Her cross over the head of Madison.
I would like to see Izzy Lucan, with her skill and ability, drive to the front post and shoot if she can, or draw it back for a teammate.
Sydney Cooper now in the match for Samantha Jennings. A player that's worked very, very hard to get her spot in the side. She'll probably have the whole 13 minutes here before the end of the half. Hasn't scored yet this season, but due for a goal. And I mean, when I mean due for a goal, due for a goal.
And deservingly so.
She really works her socks off. A fun player to watch and to root for, even if you're a neutral as well, or you're a fan of the other side.
Yeah, she is a real dynamic player. Again, very similar to a lot of players out here tonight. Never stops working on or off the ball. She's really working to find channels for her teammates to find her in, or playing pressure defense up high on the field like Jim Millender so often asks his team to do.
Cassidy George now in the match for San Francisco. Both teams coming into this game with sizzling form. Gonzaga with a slight edge on the sizzle meter with 3 matches in a row that they've won. 4 out of 5 in all, if you kind of count the last 5 as a form barometer, but unbeaten 6 out of the last 7. They've never actually won 4 games in a row in the conference ever. So tonight is a huge night for the program and the history of the program. San Francisco's concerned, it's 2 losses, a tie, and 2 wins. But the tie and the 2 wins have all been in the conference. And George takes a seat here and needs to be tended to. She's wincing a little bit there.
And she's holding her knee, so let's hope it's nothing serious. She's trying to bend it, but she's definitely going to need some medical treatment or some medical attention here from the staff who come running out to the field.
Looks like a knock there, a bit of a collision, maybe knee to knee.
And that's much better than a twisted knee or anything worse. Yeah, she might have just landed on it. Hopefully it's just a knock, like you say, and nothing more serious than that.
Gonzaga tied for third place in the West Coast Conference women's section with Santa Clara and Portland. And for San Francisco, they are 6th as the golf cart emerges here, potentially to take George off, but she's doing just fine, so I don't think that she'll need that at all.
And that's a good sign.
Perhaps the golf cart driver was a little bit energetic or had extra
Maybe
coffee,
he just wanted to get on TV.
Step. Perhaps. And happy to commentate what's in front of us. But anyway, as far as the conference is concerned, BYU top of the table on 12 points. Gonzaga, San Francisco below them. San Francisco in 6th, 7 points for them. And there's 3 teams tied in 3rd, Santa Clara and Portland. Second place is Pepperdine on 10 points. A team that San Francisco tied in Malibu earlier this season. San Francisco will go to BYU to play them.
And that's this coming week?
Yes, next weekend.
And that will be a tough match. It always is in Provo. Back to action here.
Hill with the clearance, looking for Cooper, who's able to run it down all the way back to the goalkeeper, Isabel Jones. Jones very comfortable out of the back. She's been pretty dynamic thus far, especially off the corner kicks that have kind of been in no man's land. It's definitely going to be something special to beat her this evening. If you're a San Francisco fan, if you're a Gonzaga fan, they haven't really bothered goalkeeper Molly Eby too much thus far, perhaps waiting for their best opportunity yet to come. This is Bethann Perry. Switch of the field there. Far side, this is Ashley Humphrey, who had a brace last weekend against Pacific. I think it was her first touch of the ball in the, or second touch of the ball in the, I don't even know.
It was
One
very
of the touches,
early.
Very early when she came on,
After
she scored.
coming into the game.
And she also then scored a goal right after that, which effectively put the game away and kind of killed the game off for San Francisco with the 3 points.
4 goals in the second half. We could see that here tonight. I don't know if we're going to get a goal here before halftime. Again, both teams, though, feeling and looking very confident. They just haven't really been able to penetrate that final touch into the back of the net.
36th minute here on the W.TV. Just under 10 minutes to go now. So both teams have made quite a few changes thus far. Cooper looking to win back possession. Gonzaga just looking to clear their lines. They're kind of penned in a bit here against San Francisco. Haven't had a trip up the field in a little bit of time.
Yeah, you're right. They really haven't penetrated the midfield line of defense, let alone the back 4 line of defense.
Lots of trapping by San Francisco on both sides of the field from the outside backs. Have had to do a lot of good work as Sydney Cooper tries to rise to be able to bring that down. Here's Izzy Lukin, first touch on the right. Dealt with, though, by Gonzaga. And now Kat Hill. Lukin puts her head down, running at pace. throw in for Gonzaga.
Very well defended by Gonzaga. Like you said, Gonzaga is really just trying to hoof the ball out of danger now, oftentimes, and they're not being successful. USF throw in deep inside the offensive third. Let's see if USF can get something going here in the last few minutes of this match, or I should say of the first half.
Shot of a handball and given.
Now this is actually more dangerous than a corner kick. Look for this ball to be swung in by Izzy Lukin's left foot to the back post. Key here is to keep the goalkeeper away or out of the play, not having a chance to win the ball with her hands. Looks like Autumn Smithers now will step in with her powerful right or left foot. Let's see what she might have a shot here.
On her right foot, she raises her hand, pegs it at the back post. I believe it's Lukin there. Able to get to it, not able to turn it in to bother the goalkeeper. It's nice to be able to take a player like Micaiah Madison off and put a player like Izzy Lukin on. Certainly the depth in the ranks is there for San Francisco.
What a luxury. And Humphreys, and Sydney Cooper, and others. It is, like you said, they're very deep this year. The deepest I think they've been, certainly with talent, since Jim Millender's been here. Just done a fantastic job, Jim Millender and his staff have done recruiting, really getting 6, 7 quality players coming into this program. And you can just see through the fluidity of the play on the outside backs, the outside midfielders up front. With the players, they just move so well with and without the ball. Really fun to watch.
Here is Sydney Cooper. Such a smart, intelligent player. Look at that through ball there. At the end line. Good tackle, though, at the last minute. It was Bianca Code. Now, Smithers. Shot from distance. Over the ball.
I think she's kicking herself mentally already over that one. If she had that back, she'd like to do that a little bit better. Autumn Smithers certainly able to connect from that distance. She is a strong player with a strong left foot.
She scored the equalizer last week early in the second half, and she's had some of her best performances those last few games. You can see from her position as well, just in front of the back line, having shots, being able to penetrate into the final third, and kind of running the gambit of the field as well, almost as a box-to-box midfielder, but also able to come back, win headers, be able to play her outside backs and retain possession too. She's putting in a lot of work.
Well, not only has she put in a lot of work, but she's demonstrated a lot of skill. The second goal that she created was just fantastic. So close in the 6-yard box, only to sombrero a player and then cross it over, I believe, for Micaiah Madison to finish off. That was something really special.
Sombrero a player. Love the terminology, Joe Dugan. What's sombreroing a player? Nice little rainbow over another player there.
Absolutely.
Flip the ball over someone else's head.
Yes.
There you go.
While facing the different direction.
Brilliant. For those of you that need to know technical soccer terminology today, that's Izzy Lukin on the turn. Cleared away. Here's Smithers again.
And there's Gonzaga really just breaking lines by putting it over the top.
Bethann Perry with about 5 minutes to go. On for Sydney Cooper. Bethann Perry takes a flick.
Really like that play by Cooper. Wow, she looked like she was going to go to her right and then backheeled it to her left for the oncoming attacker. Unfortunately for USF, didn't get the shot off.
Far side, just under 4 minutes to go here on the W.TV. Charles Rowland, Joe Dugan with you. A pleasure to call this game. As always, a brilliant match thus far between these two well-coached sides that have ambitions of getting to the playoffs, the NCAA tournament, the promised land. Gonzaga, their last tournament appearance in 2005, knocked out by Coach Jim Millender when he coached at USC, and it was his second to last season at USC before he left there. San Francisco has never made a tournament, and that's why they've brought the expertise of Jim Millender in now in his 7th year, looking to potentially take this program to new heights. So far, looking pretty good, but as far as Gonzaga is concerned, good chance, but the offside flag is raised.
You look at this USF team, you say this is a tournament team, but everything about conference matters. So it's where you end up in conference that you earn that playoff spot. So this team plays attacking soccer. They play with the ball at their feet, really try to possess the ball and play real football, but nothing matters unless you come in first, maybe second in conference to get a bid to the NCAAs.
That's what they say, conference, conference, conference. You can win all the non-conference games and then really have a difficult time in the actual league. In fact, a good story of this was Gonzaga last year actually started 8 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie in their non-conference.
I did read that today, Charles.
2-7 in the conference last year, losing 6 in a row to end their year.
Well, to put this game into a bit of a microcosm from that, it's all about consistency, and let's see how these teams come out in the second half. Who's going to be the more consistent team? And that team usually is the one who wins.
Gonzaga bearing down in San Francisco's final third in this last 2 minutes. Connecting a couple of passes, but San Francisco has had pedal to the metal and had a bulk of the possession in this game. Hasn't resulted in a goal or really bothering the goalkeeper Isabel Jones too much.
But I think you referenced how deep USF is this year, and I think that's going to be, it could be the difference. I'm not familiar with the depth of Gonzaga, but having Micaiah Madison start the second half, wow, if I'm a defender and I've played the full 45 minutes of the first half, that's, now Micaiah Madison's had approximately 12, 13 minutes of rest. That's going to be a handful.
Micaiah Madison, the junior, the assist leader in the conference, and a wonderful feature on her on the Dons the website, usfdons.com, and on YouTube as well, so check that out. A bit of her background, her story, her family, what she's done as an athlete to be able to kind of get to the next level, and what she's learned here as a student athlete, and really showcasing the student athlete here on campus at the University of San Francisco. Really a gem of a person, and someone that's worked very hard to get where she is now. And you should check that out, even if you're a neutral or a Gonzaga fan too. Now Sydney Cooper, end line. She crosses it in. It's Izzy Lucan. She brings it down. Not sure if she got all of her head to that as well.
just saying that because she doesn't want to get that.
Welcome back to Negoesco Stadium here on the campus of the University of San Francisco. 0-0 the score between these two sides. We're going to know a lot more information after this weekend as Gonzaga, they are tied for third in the conference on 9 points. San Francisco on 7 points. Any of the current top six, we think are going to win this conference, but who knows? You never know. It is a juggernaut of West Coast Conference play on the women's side. Usually sends a couple teams to the NCAA tournament. Kind of keys from that first half, Joe, going into this second half?
Well, I think we'll see here the interview we had with Jim Millender. But for me, personally, USF has to keep their confidence going. They have to keep building. They did a good job. I thought they did a fairly good job building up out of the back, keeping the ball at their feet. They just have to do a better job in the offensive third. More easily said than done, but they're not far off.
Here's Heilman. Her shot closed down. We'll get to that interview in just a second here. Here's Jenks. She lays off. The shot comes in by McKenna Ferreira. A great opportunity there for Gonzaga.
It certainly was, and that was a nice build-up. The center forward playing with her back to the goal, just laying it off for one of her oncoming teammates. USF getting into the shot blocking the way Gonzaga did.
Yes, there you go. So let's take a look at the halftime interview with Coach Jim Millender that you did just moments ago.
I'm here with Coach Jim Millender. Quite even for the first 15 minutes or so. They seemed to calm down a little bit. I thought their defense was fairly solid. Your momentum was in your favor. What changes? What stays the same in the second half?
You know, I thought we were pretty good. I mean, we weren't just sharp enough. I thought we had some good, after the first 15 minutes went by, thought we got a hold of the game, had some good chances. But, you know, it's WCC play. We got to score goals. We can't just be walk off at halftime here and say, well, we were good, we were better than them, because it's 0-0. So we need to get a goal here. We need to be a little bit sharper with our crossing, you know, our final pass, our spacing, just little details that we talked about at halftime. We just got to be better, a little bit better.
Yeah. You're not far away, so good luck in the second half.
Thanks, Joe.
And back to you, Charles, in the booth.
Well, clearly you can see a very passionate, fired up Jim Millender. Wants to kind of kick on his side there and see if they can get a goal this evening. It's notched at 0-0. This is Carly Weeks over to her right side now for Teufel. Onto her left side. Teufel, lots of space. It's Kalena Teufel. Oh, and it's saved by the goalkeeper, Jones. Just not enough pace on that.
No, and she hesitated just ever so much. Jones never looking out of position. Again, looking very strong here on this ball. Low and hard to her right.
Yeah, Jones has been pretty solid this evening. Haven't bothered her too much. Again, the shot by Smithers, the one low and on the ground, and that one just there, probably the moves of the game and the biggest opportunities San Francisco's had, besides the corner kicks where she's had to come out. But she's looked very sharp this evening as well. You almost kind of get the feeling you wanted to hear from Chris Watkins as well, and hearing what he had to say at halftime, coming into San Francisco, having a kind of tough, rough record against San Francisco in San Francisco, losing 10 out of 12 overall in program history. And again, his side hanging in there, doing all right, perhaps taking out some of their starters a little earlier than maybe he thought he probably wanted to, and perhaps maybe dropping off just a little bit, but at the same time, would have loved to hear his thoughts. You know, this is a Gonzaga team that has a lot of momentum, that they're fresh, they have a lot of rest, as Watkins had told me in kind of our pre-flash interview, our interview before the match that is customary for broadcasters. And, you know, he says a lot of his players are just very hardworking, blue-collared, and so that's kind of where they are. Effectively, I've just done the interview for him and his side, but maybe we'll see if we can do that.
That's a pretty darn good one-man interview. But again, I think his description of his players is accurate. They were very hardworking, very disciplined on defense, but they did lose their shape in the last bit of the game, really resorting to just kicking the ball forward over the top in the last part of the game. So maybe that's out of fatigue. We'll see.
Here's Weeks on for Teufel, turning the corner on her right foot, swerving it in. Smithers knocks it down. It's Carly Weeks, and it's just over the bar. Excellent chance. She puts her head up to the heavens. She knows it too.
And we come into the second half saying USF has had the momentum. They need to penetrate a little bit more into the penalty box. In the first 5 minutes, they've done it twice now, and they need to do better with these opportunities if they're going to put this game, if they're going to get on the score sheet and then put the game away.
Well, here's Heilman. She does very well on that right side. Nudged off the ball, and a foul there. She's been very active, Heilman, in that front three with India Jenks. Again, a junior Heilman. And again, Gonzaga is going to boast a final year of Jenks and Heilman in their ranks. And same thing with San Francisco with Jennings and Madison now on the ball here for San Francisco. Top of the 18, Madison on her right side. Still Micaiah Madison, still running. Madison, her cross. It's deflected for a corner. Second corner in succession for San Francisco.
And that's the danger Micaiah Madison brings to this USF offense. If you can see this replay, she goes 40 yards, attracts 3 to 4 defenders, beats them all, only to get the ball almost across the face of the goal. See, there's 3. Getting behind 3-4 defenders.
Crossed on in, it's Autumn Smithers.
Just couldn't quite elevate enough to get that ball down. Autumn Smithers.
Here's Madison once more, left side. It was her little attack that led to the corner just moments ago. And I'll tell you, the captain, Callie Best, has had to do a number on Micaiah Madison, and every time they've run into each other, it's been 50-50. You never really know which way you're going to go here. So Madison's got the better of her once or twice, but she's also got the better of Madison, and really not taking any dime or quarter or nickel. Kind of an old school defender. Best, the captain, it's Jennings, and caught there by Jones. No problem, right on her line.
Yeah, that really didn't test the goalkeeper Jones quite at all. It was on target, but it wasn't hard enough to cause any danger.
Jones looking for Heilman, headed away there by Cassidy Helenihi. Throwing just in front of the Gonzaga bench. Every single San Francisco player and every single Gonzaga player is up off the bench, waiting patiently for this first goal here on the 55th minute of this game. And both sets of players, everybody kind of in here. There's a little bit of, I don't know, you can kind of feel the energy. It's exciting, it's energetic, back and forth, but there's probably a little bit of nerves as well in this building, both from the Gonzaga fans, from the players, and also from the fans on the San Francisco side here tonight.
Well, we can see almost now 2 different styles. USF trying to play their feet, trying to string together consecutive passes, while Gonzaga is really okay with putting the ball more over the midfield.
Jenks fouled, and a free kick now given to Gonzaga.
Now it's the second ball that a lot of times creates the danger here.
Headed away by Cathill. There's Pumpely. Headed onwards for Jenks. Jenks with the shot. And Molly Eby's there for San Francisco. Probably the best move of the game to bother the goalkeeper as far as Gonzaga's concerned. Here in this 56th minute, Jenks kind of making something out of nothing, and why not? 5 goals on the year, 2 assists. Again, a player that is really certainly trusted in that front three.
And you can see there on the replay, that was certainly the closest and most dangerous opportunity Gonzaga has created for themselves thus far.
Here's Teufel. On for Madison. Can she work something from this? Again, it's the captain, Callie Best, who even switched sides as Micaiah Madison switched sides. So both coaches have done their homework. Millender and Watkins, toe-to-toe. Now Madison, ball over the top. 1 to beat here. Madison crosses it in. Samantha Jennings! San Francisco 1, Gonzaga 0. Madison to Jennings. A classic move.
And that ball was all started with the diagonal ball to Micaiah Madison, who spots and finds Samantha Jennings' head with a perfect pass inside the 6-yard box for Samantha Jennings to put away.
Her 10th goal of the season for San Francisco. And again, they scored in this opening 10 minutes of this second half, a similar theme from Sunday that they brought back. But now here comes Gonzaga. This is Alasia Lane.
And I don't know if we can get another replay of that, maybe back it up a little bit, where the counterattack was so spot on by USF. Best had won the ball earlier in the play, and then she was out of position. I believe it was Villegas who pushed the ball to Micaiah Madison and the diagonal ball down the right wing that really opened it up. That is great attacking soccer.
Again, San Francisco draws the first goal of this game. Madison and Jennings connecting again. Here is Micaiah Madison once more. Brought down by Teufel. Weeks top of the area. Smithers in there too. Not settling for just one. They want to get another one right away. Can see that. Can see they're just not going to sit back either.
Well,
they're not taught this way, and neither is Gonzaga.
And I believe Samantha Jennings and Micaiah Madison really finding each other, really combining on give and goes in the attack. It's very, very hard to stop. Now, is this going to take the life out of Gonzaga, or is Gonzaga going to bounce back? They've shown a propensity to be tough and play and respond to a lot of attacking play by USF. Let's see if they do it here after the goal being scored upon them.
Cat Hill looking for Weeks. Michaela Mercado with a missed first touch. Gonzaga looks to clear. Tries to find Heilman on that right side. She seems to be the go-to on that flank. Haven't played too much on this left flank. And also through the middle to the feet of Jenks. Jennings keeping possession and then coming off of a Gonzaga player for a San Francisco throw. Again, this is the 26th meeting between these two sides. San Francisco, 17 wins for them. There's been 8 wins for Gonzaga. This dates back to 1993. Last season, Gonzaga beat San Francisco 6-2 in Spokane. 2 years before that in the reverse fixture here, because both sets of teams don't do a home and away anymore like they used to in the conference. It was 2-1 in favor of San Francisco, where they have won 10 out of 12 matches against Gonzaga here at Mega Wesco. if you're kind of into the history books and the encyclopedia stuff, happy to provide. This is Sofia Viviano. Yet to see too much of her in this game. In fact, she plays in that midfield three as one of the attacking midfield players. And haven't really seen her kick on and have too many chances thus far as the through ball for Weeks.
And for those of you watching at home, that was a fantastic play by Micaiah Madison. Immediately advances the ball forward. And these athletes are some of the fastest athletes in the country, really going at it. Division I pace here. Really fun to watch.
Now in the 60th minute of this game, San Francisco 1, Gonzaga 0. Samantha Jennings with her 10th goal of the year. Breaking a little scoreless spell as far as Samantha Jennings is concerned. But she scored quite a few goals this year indeed. It was San Francisco's 30th goal this season.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how USF, and I don't expect them to change a thing from their attacking soccer, putting the Gonzaga defense under pressure constantly. But this is a great opportunity for these younger players on USF to learn to manage a game. How do you manage a game in times like this? It's way too early to slow down or change anything, but it's how you possess the ball, how you string together consecutive passes to build that confidence up and take the confidence away from the opponent. So let's see how USF does here.
Especially with a match on Sunday as well, where they only have less than 48 hours to recover for. So we'll see what happens as well. Lots of time in this match. We haven't yet to see Gonzaga respond and really bother Molly Eby too much. I mean, the goal was scored in the last 5 minutes, but to be fair, they will continue to attack and play their game too as it's cleared away there by Mia Villegas. Villegas, who actually we haven't really spoken about too much today, haven't really had to say much. She just kind of does a lot of the dirty work alongside Kat Hill there as a center back. 2 freshmen at center back for San Francisco. No problem.
Well, for me, those are the players that you really count on and you like, is they're not the star players, they're not the flashy players, but they are the consistent players, especially in the back. And if you're not calling out the fullbacks and certainly the center backs too often, to me, they're doing their jobs.
In on the far side.
And again, Charles, forgive me, but I haven't been tracking the Gonzaga substitutions too much, but we do see the USF bench, and we see that there are quite a few weapons there. I'm not sure if Gonzaga is as deep as USF, but I think that is going to be one of the strengths down the stretch here for USF.
Chris Watkins does not change as much as Jim Millender does. This is Pumpely now out of the back, very comfortable with her ball at her feet. Nice through ball here down the right side. It's Heilman. Heilman's cross. Not able to get all the way around that to be able to find one of her teammates, but very quick and out of the back. And it just shows that Gonzaga has plenty of life at their legs here and want to respond.
But I'd like to expand on that point about not too many changes or the amount of changes that USF has made. It's all about managing the minutes. You manage the minutes because of the 2 games in a short amount of time, but you also manage the minutes for someone like Samantha Jennings, who's coming off 3 knee injuries, but 5 surgeries. So Jim Millender and his staff have done a fantastic job about managing the minutes, not allowing her to play too long and get too fatigued. And so they typically limit her to approximately 60 minutes a game, and 10 goals in a season. I'd say it's working, Charles.
Certainly so, and that's something that she's worked very, very hard for. Again, there's been some tough stretches for Samantha Jennings. They call her Sage, or just Sage. because that's her nickname. But she really just gets on with it. And a clinical finisher, just wants the ball at her feet inside the 18 with a little bit of space, and she'll put it away, just like Madison did, and put that ball right on her head. Now here's the makeshift right back, Maddie Cooley, the junior from Mill Creek, Washington. She's very active on that right side indeed, coming in with a lot of energy, as well as you would expect from a substitute in that right back spot.
Charles, do you have another score to report for us here?
Do not have a score just yet, but I will make sure that we take a look here. Definitely got some very vocal fans this evening. Callie Best, the captain, to take this free kick. It's short. It's right on this left side for her teammate Viviano. San Francisco asking for the throw-in. It wasn't given initially, and Nicole Kelsey had to make sure that, had to ask for that one as well. And so she does win the throw.
And as we speak about managing minutes, Samantha Jennings going off, Sydney Cooper coming on. And that is, again, a very nice compliment to Samantha Jennings, someone like Sydney Cooper, who, again, is knocking on the door for her first goal. And when she scores that first goal, I think everyone's going to say it's well-deserved because she is such a hard worker.
So just a result from tonight, which is very significant indeed. University of Portland playing against Santa Clara at Stevens Stadium in Santa Clara. They have a 2-1 lead in the match versus Santa Clara right now. And so that is a big result, potentially, in the conference. And as I say, potentially, things can change in a minute here. Gonzaga could score. Santa Clara could score, tie it. Portland could win. But again,
how late in the game was that?
That result was in the 53rd minute, but they're still on the same time length of this game, so there's probably around the same time thus far. We're just following along with that. We'll give you updates as well as that becomes available in the game. But an important result. As we said at the beginning of this broadcast, we'll know a lot more information and who's really in it, the top 3-4 teams at the end of this week to see if they could win the conference. Certainly BYU's already there, so they're one of the 4 teams that potentially could win the conference. They're on 12 points, 4-1 on the year. Just below them, Pepperdine, 10 points, 3-1-1 on the year, as the referee may go to the book here. Coach Jim Millender asking for a yellow card, and I think it is going to be given.
Well, and this is a late tackle from behind, and you don't like to see cards given out, but that is necessary to caution the player to stop that from happening again.
Headed away, brought down by Weeks. Autumn Smithers through a bunch of traffic there, able to win it. And a slip on the ground there results in Lucan chasing and a nice tackle at the last minute. And Lucan and McKenna Ferreira run into each other. Ferreira has to be careful because she was booked just moments ago. It looked like those two kind of tangled up and had some extracurriculars between the two.
Yeah,
McKenna Ferrara. If you look at the replay just there, she comes through and she tackles Izzy Lucan, and so that could have been another yellow card.
Yeah.
Had not she may have not been booked earlier. She's on very thin ice.
Well, you're right, and you like to see the passion, but you don't like to see girls get tangled up, and certainly not any tackles unnecessarily.
Yeah, it was quite vicious, for sure. And I don't usually comment on situations like that.
No, that's usually me.
That's usually you, Joe. But I think that's a sending off there. That's quite clear what just happened. We'll take a look at that again. Now, Sydney Cooper defending, but here comes Gonzaga. And they do so through the feet of Viviano. Her service, it's in no man's land, caught around Jenks. Save made by Eby. Corner kick, Gonzaga.
Well,
very nice move.
Let's see the replay here, because that's one of those balls, again, where I'm sure Eby did not see that ball coming until the last minute. It's just a reaction save. Very good save to parry the ball outside of the post. Corner kick for Gonzaga.
It's going to be taken by Alasia Lane, who I don't think they've gotten enough service to. She's a very dangerous player. The cross comes in, it's at the back stick, and Cathill rises. It's going to be another corner here.
I believe they're calling a goal kick.
Rather, I will change my call. It is a goal kick. That was Maddie Cooley's cross from that left back spot.
Well, you can see Gonzaga's not going anywhere. They're really going to push for a goal here. And I'm sure they're under instructions. Try to get that equalizer as quickly as possible and then see where the game goes from there.
We've played 70 minutes. We've got 20 minutes to go here on the W.TV. The goal by Jennings separating the two sides. Here's Sydney Cooper. Very smartly plays her left back, Helenihi, who fouls her opponent on the left. Crossed on in again. Jenks with the header.
And you know, I like that play from Gonzaga. Very well executed up until that last ball. But a very good play. It was so far out, it's the right thing to do, because 9 times out of 10, a ball that far out or a free kick that far out is not going to create a lot of danger with a ball into the box.
Well, again, here's Weidman. Again, she scored on the weekend a very important goal, the third goal for Gonzaga. And the way that she finished on the outside of her right foot, as I said in the first half, brilliant, brilliant take by Weidman. Surprised she actually doesn't start for this Gonzaga side. And potentially maybe they're managing her minutes. And again, she's a pretty dangerous player and can get on the end of some good through balls if they can get her some service, and that's a big if. Now, here comes Viviano. Speaking of that, the hardworking midfielder, and Smithers is able to tackle away. Pumpely now. And now, Gabriela Mas.
And that is what Autumn Smithers is so good at. She's not allowing any penetration through the middle of the field.
Again, crossed in. Helenihi deals with it. Every single San Francisco player back defending and behind the ball. Pumpely making a nice strong run out of the back. On here for Jenks. And she's dispossessed, and there's a free kick in a very dangerous position here.
And if we see the replay, I think the referee made a mistake here. The ball was clearly won on initial take. Right there. And she played the ball. Wow. Very, very dangerous position to give a free kick away. Let's see what Gonzaga can do with it.
So Moss.
Now, this is a tripping foul, so this is a direct kick. Look for them to take a direct shot because it is so close.
Gabriela Moss standing behind the ball here. 5 in the wall. The whistle blows before she took it.
Or after. That was very strange, wasn't it?
Very bizarre. I felt like I was living on a different planet there. But anyway, back to earth now. Just around 16 minutes and 40 seconds to go here.
And if you're Gonzaga, you're definitely kicking yourself in the foot. You don't want to waste those opportunities. Probably not the way they wanted to execute that free kick at all.
Headed on. This is Beth Ann Perry into the feet of Weeks. A hard-working Weeks spreads the ball over to the right side, looking for Izzy Lucan, but collected well by the goalkeeper. Weeks again. Nice hard running here by the freshman. She wins a throw.
And if I'm USF and if I'm any defender or midfielder on USF, I'm looking for Weeks' feet all the time. I want to get her involved. She's a dynamic player who, again, her first touch is forward. Her first thought is to go forward and attack. That's the type of player I want to give the ball to.
Emily Pye substituted into this game now, as well as Samantha Jennings.
So maybe USF is going with an extra defensive midfielder, Charles?
Potentially alongside Smithers here. This is Weeks, and handball is called. You can tell she wants to play on. Very, very eager player. She's going to be a very special player indeed.
You might say she already is, and really, really fun to watch.
Absolutely.
And you can see, yeah, good call by the referee. Handball, play to her advantage.
Smithers looking for Madison.
Can you believe I'm complimenting the referees?
Don't
I'm
know what
evolving.
planet we're on, but back to Earth, Joe Dugan.
I'm evolving.
This is Jenks, dispossessed by Madison, and free kick to Gonzaga.
Now it's the second ball, so as the first ball comes in, if it's a knockdown, look for the second ball to be attacked by Gonzaga, trying to get a shot on goal. This could be a direct shot on goal. It's a little far away, but certainly not out of question.
Quick something here by Moss, crossed in. Alasia Lane's there and cleared away. Top of the area, though. It's Pumpely, still Pumpely. And her shot goes wide. It was an interesting free kick because it looked like it was something from the training ground or something they practiced with two players maybe having a chit-chat and then just playing a ball down the flank. But the body language of Alasia Lane, she had her hands out. I think she may have wanted the ball at her feet at the top of the 18, and then she walked around and finally got at the top of the 18. But it was an interesting moment from her, because you could tell she was clearly frustrated. Maybe she wanted something to her feet first before the free kick was taken, and then it was still kind of a trick free kick. Again, 1-0 the score here.
And Charles, I just took my headset off just for a moment there to reach for something, and you can hear the Gonzaga team on the sidelines, on the bench, really, really into this game, rooting for their teammates at every turn of the ball.
And they know the stakes. It's still 2-1 Portland down in Santa Clara. Again, it would be a pretty big result for Portland against Santa Clara if they can pull it off tonight.
And what's Gonzaga's record in league? I think they're undefeated, aren't they?
Excuse me, what team are you talking about?
Excuse me, Portland.
Portland is 3-1.
Yes.
San Francisco hosts Portland on Sunday. No undefeated team in the West Coast Conference on the women's side.
No, yeah, in the men's side. I see, okay.
This is Pumpely, failed to clear. Madison still bearing down on goal and finally cleared away. A lot of pressure. Jennings back to goal, has Michaela Mercado with her, as well as Madison. Madison with her 10th assist of the year tonight. Leads the West Coast Conference. Jennings with her 10th goal of the year.
And game is far from over, but what I mentioned a few moments ago about USF, after they scored the goal, how are they going to manage the game? And I would say so far they've moved the ball, they've kept possession, or at least kept the Gonzaga defense under pressure. So up until now, they think they've done a decent job.
Here's Moss, and now finds Jenks. Jenks on the right side, stops, turns, plays back on her feet, and there's going to be a free kick, almost like a corner for Gonzaga. I thought she may have slipped on the turf there, but the AR on the far side making that call. It's Brandon Chapman. Free kick here. It's going to be taken again by Gabriela Moss. It's a nice service, knocked down and cleared away by Lukin. But so too, though, there was a Gonzaga player in the way. Here's Madison again. And here she is. Madison whoops by Pumpely. And Pumpely and Madison run into each other. Hands up between both of them here. Would have loved to see a replay of that.
And you know, I'm okay with that. That was a hard battle by both of them. No intent on a foul, just battling for the ball. You know, that's not a bad call.
Shoulder to shoulder.
Not a bad play.
A little bit of jockeying for position with hands and shoulders and elbows, maybe a little bit there. Now, Alasia Lane. Here's Jody Ukiul. Ukiul, her shot. Oh, and what a goal for Gonzaga. Ukiul. San Francisco won. Gonzaga won.
Well, Gonzaga was certainly pushing for a goal, and you can see a replay here. It just creates a little room for herself. And, you know, you look back on that, and the goalkeeper, EP, was blocked by her own player. Like to have that ball back. Unfortunately, looks like there's an injury here.
Well, it was Cat Hill with the final little touch. Not sure if that's going to be ruled an own goal or not, or they're going to give that to the captain, Ukiul.
Looks
like
that
was
she's
a big
have
goal.
To leave the field. Maybe not be substituted, but have to leave the field. I think it might have been a slight head injury. Really, really nice shot. Even if it was a deflection off the USF defender, really nice shot by Gonzaga.
Ukiul with a goal there. A very important one indeed.
Well, let's see what's left in this game. There's 9:25 left in this game. Let's see if there's more goals.
That's her 4th of the year. Oh, from that left back spot. So, again, the way that this game started is going to be the way that this game ends, which you wouldn't have it any other way. 1-1, 10 minutes to go. Jenks looking to put the moves there on Helene He. Chested down by Jennings. Caught on the feet of Micaiah Madison. And Michaela Mercado having a difficult time clearing her lines. Out of the back, lots of space for Archuleta. And all the way back to Eby.
Go, go, go! Keep it easy, keep it easy! Keep it easy, keep it easy! Go, go!
Now
All over the top for Madison. And now Jennings. Back into the feet of Madison. Great little run. Micaiah Madison laying off for Weeks. Weeks top of the 18, but kept in here by San Francisco.
USF really trying to push for a goal. They want to respond to this goal scored upon them with an immediate goal. The longer this game goes on without a goal, the more in favor it is for Gonzaga.
7 minutes and 15 seconds to go here in San Francisco on the WTV. It's now 2-2 in Santa Clara between Portland and Santa Clara. And so, tied up here, tied up in Santa Clara. These results do matter tonight because there's a three-way tie for third, and San Francisco is in fourth, but really in the sixth position. The shot comes in, and it goes high and wide. Lots of space.
Well, that's just it. Too much space if you're a USF Dawn defender. Not enough space if you're a Gonzaga Bulldog. 6 minutes, 30 seconds left. Well, we can go to overtime, or if there's a goal scored in the last few minutes here, the game will be over.
Six minutes, 5 seconds to go. Gonzaga penetrating in San Francisco's final third, but San Francisco restart in front of that Gonzaga bench. And as you said, Joe, the more and more this goes on, the more confident Gonzaga's getting here. And they've responded well to the San Francisco goal. And both teams will know that tonight is a big night and 3 points up for grabs. Or rather, they'll be fine settling for 1 point each, and so will Portland and Santa Clara down in Santa Clara, but BYU will be sitting there smiling at the top of the table, and so will Pepperdine at second in the table. So they've got to get on with it. Each game matters in the conference. It's very important to get results.
Well, it's important that USF doesn't lose their shape and doesn't just go for those desperate balls over the top. There's still 5 minutes left. They've been very successful going forward, doing what they've been doing, following their strategy. There's no reason for them to change it.
Under 5 minutes to go. Again, 1-1 the score in the 26th overall meeting between Gonzaga and San Francisco. And a game that's been played at such a high intensity, very much a knockout playoff game. You have a huge smile on your face. You must agree. Well, you don't have to agree, but I'm just saying.
I don't always agree, and I'll tell you why. I think there has been a very fast pace to start both halves, but there was definitely a lull in the middle of the first half, only for USF to come back and gain the momentum at the end of the first half. Gonzaga's done a very good job to recover. They got their shape back. They're playing a little bit more through midfield than they were at the end of the first half. So it's a little bit of ebbs and flows, but certainly a very fast pace to start both halves and to finish this half.
Throw in for San Francisco. Just around 4 minutes to go now. And we'll have sudden death, potential golden goal overtime. If this holds. Both teams want to push for a goal. They know the stakes are very high. Again, Gonzaga will play Santa Clara on Sunday. San Francisco will host Portland on Sunday in also a very important match. Currently tied at 2-2 down in Santa Clara, just 50 miles to the south. Probably a little warmer than our current weather here in San Francisco.
And I don't know how often this score is updated, but it looks like a good 12 minutes or so left in the Santa Clara match.
Here is McKenna Ferrara. And now Moss, McKenna Ferrara. Still McKenna Ferrara. She lays off for Jenks. Just out of her reach.
Yeah, not quite on the same page there. Good penetrating run, but just couldn't connect on that final pass inside the penalty box.
Throw in far side for Gonzaga. 2 minutes to go. Wouldn't this be something? Could find a last-minute winner. Be really, really crucial. Now, space opens up, but Emily Pye's there just at the last minute, though, for San Francisco.
And that failure to clear the ball really causing trouble for USF Dons. See a couple slippages, one on the clearance, one on the attacking Gonzaga player trying to get the ball.
Comes off the foot there of Alasia Lane. Final substitution here for San Francisco with 1:20 left. Beth Ann Perry to take the place of Michaela Mercado with 1:10 to go. We've had quite the match here. Finally in the 90th minute. This is Alasia Lane, cleared away up in the air by Mia Villegas. Again, haven't had to call her name too much, but she's done a lot of decent defensive work for San Francisco. There's Helenihi with some defending of her own with the last potential minute tackle, but here's Jenks. Jenks still running at the San Francisco backline, runs into Autumn Smithers, switches direction, then slips. Here comes Weeks, 30 seconds to go, Samantha Jennings. And now over the top, Micaiah Madison is offside. Referee finally looks at the assistant referee and makes that call, but probably should have happened 5 seconds earlier. I don't have to be the referee, commentator, referee.
You're doing a fine job at it. But
you.
I think that was a good call from my angle. Looked like she was a step ahead of the last line of defense.
So at the end of 90 minutes here in San Francisco, 2 goals in the second half, both by either side. But we have sudden death golden goal overtime after this here on the W.TV. You don't want to go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Welcome back to Negoesco Stadium. Both San Francisco, Gonzaga notched at 1-1. Next goal wins. It is a golden goal here. And so there's no opportunity for another team to answer. So if it goes in, it's done. There's 3 points on one side. If it stays the way it is now, though, and it just might, it's a point to either side. And so the points, though, are very important for these two teams. Again, it's the meat and potatoes part of the conference, the part where you need to pick up some points and see if you can challenge the top dogs, BYU. Currently 4 wins, 1 loss, 12 points on the year for them. This is Kalena Teufel for San Francisco. Nice little run by Teufel.
Well, these are 2 well-coached teams, and look for both teams to respond to their coaches, and I think both coaches are going to say, push for the goal. I don't see Gonzaga going to sit back and be happy with a tie, and I know Jim Millender is going to keep pushing. I think Jim Millender is confident in his team. I think he thinks he has more weapons than the opponent. I think he's going to push for the goal.
Here is the goal scorer for Gonzaga, Jodi Yukikul. She scored her 4th of the year. She swerves it into the area. It's Jenks, still Jenks. Great opportunity for Gonzaga. And San Francisco lives to see another day. And suddenly on here on the counterattack, Weeks over the top. She was looking for Madison, but didn't quite get that right there.
No, needed a little bit more bend, did that diagonal ball. But USF doing a fine job keeping Gonzaga, who again is pushing for a goal, out of the back of the net.
And that has been a great battle to watch. Callie Best and Micaiah Madison all day. And Best, probably 60%, maybe 65% of the battles won by her. I don't want to get all Opta-stat or Opta-Joe, no pun intended towards you here, but, you know, on the statistical side, she's kind of won her duels.
Well, she's battled for sure. Fine player. You know, she's got to be at the top of her game against Micaiah Madison. Like any defender trying to handle the speed and dynamic play of Micaiah Madison.
Yukikul in the corner. 4 goals for her on the year. A very important one. Lots of space here. Smithers looks to clear, though. But Gonzaga maintains possession. And as you can see here, seem to be just growing and bubbling in confidence. This is Archuleta, still on her horse. And goal kick. Sigh of relief for San Francisco because Gonzaga pinging it around.
Well, also penetrating. Archuleta had a fine run. Just wasn't quite on the same page with the striker there to get on the end of it. But again, very, very dangerous penetrating run by Archuleta, deep inside the offensive third.
Cole Kelsey. Now for Kat Hill, who has made her re-entrance into this game. Maybe a second act, but so too, though, there is Alasia Lane. The through ball comes in here, and Eby's able to collect that. Every time Alasia Lane gets the ball at her feet, though, I'm thinking she's going to try and take players on 1v1. Her pace and her speed is just blistering, but she hasn't had too much of the ball at her feet tonight. This is Kat Hill.
I would agree with you. She is a dynamic player, and she's one of those players who thinks forward first, which is what attacking players should do, but they don't always perform that way.
Back to the goalkeeper, and she can only clear. And so that was some good press by Weeks. Throw in for San Francisco now. 5 minutes and 28 seconds to go.
Game feels like a goal is coming, but they've been close on both ends before.
Cassidy Kallmeyer now in the game here for Nicole Kelsey. Cassidy Helenihi to take this throw. Into the feet of Madison. Onto her left. Now back to her right. And Gonzaga with possession. Cleared away. Throw in San Francisco with under 5 minutes to go. We've played halfway through this first overtime period. And wow, my goodness, we do have some news to report from the Santa Clara-Portland game. In the 90th minute, Santa Clara had a penalty, but it was saved by Portland's goalkeeper, Rachel Lusby. So it's 2-2 down in Santa Clara at the end of regular time, at the end of 90 minutes. So it's all to play down south as well. And to be honest with you, to be fair, I don't think draws between these two games is going to do these 4 teams much good in the conference, to be honest, because Pepperdine and BYU are sitting smiling at these 2 results right now.
Right. Well, let's see how these games end. Very exciting times.
1-1 the score here. 2-2 down in Santa Clara. Again, these two teams will flip from one another. So you'll see this Gonzaga side take on Santa Clara on Sunday, and you'll see Portland come up to San Francisco for both afternoon fixtures on Sunday here on the W.TV. Villegas cleared away by Cat Hill. And Villegas has to clear again. Throw in for Gonzaga as they press for a goal and continue on here. 3 minutes to go in this first overtime period. This is Jenks. Restart for San Francisco. 2 minutes, 40 seconds to go now.
And really, at this stage of the game, it's who can create the most space for themselves up front to give themselves an opportunity to get a shot on goal. You're not going to see a lot of tricky or fancy play in the middle of midfield. You're going to see balls played directly to the forwards, again, trying to get behind the line of defense to create those shooting opportunities.
Ashley Humphrey in the game for Micaiah Madison. Sydney Cooper in the game for Samantha Jennings. Marie Marlowe on the left side as well for San Francisco. Ashley Humphrey, who scored 2 goals last weekend against Pacific. Decent defending. Again, by Callie Best. She drew some pressure and won a free kick. 1 minute and 30 seconds to go. Ukekul in the corner, her cross. Michaela Mercado clears. And it's a corner for Gonzaga now.
Really dangerous play there by Gonzaga, putting the pressure on the USF Dawn. How are they going to defend this corner kick?
Here's Alasia Lane.
Coming down to the last few moments of the game here.
1 minute to go. Alasia Lane. She has Ukekul in there. She has Jenks as well. Finally cleared away by Weeks. Now Best heads up field, looking for Jenks. Ball bouncing around, and the referee does signal, I think the offside flag's raised there. Jenks offside, and a chance to restart for San Francisco. And again, a set piece for Gonzaga, and a good opportunity. Ball bouncing all the way through. 10 seconds to go. Humphrey on for Cooper potentially, and that's probably all there's going to be in this half. Humphrey has a go. The goalkeeper still there. The fans want more, kind of grumbling and moaning. They want a winner, and both sets of teams do too. So there's 2 minutes. They'll switch sides. Get a little rah-rah from their coaching staffs, and we'll have the second half just after this. Welcome back to Negoesco Stadium. 1-1 the score between these two sides. And the first...
Nil.
Yeah, I know, right? Almost said 0-0. And still potentially waiting for a golden goal winner. Here is India Jenks for Gonzaga. She lays off, though. And Michaela Mercado could only clear for a corner. That's the second corner she's conceded in the overtime by not being able to clear correctly on her first touch. And let's see if Gonzaga can capitalize on that. It's Alasia Lane, crossed on in. Gonzaga still trying to get a shot in on goal here. This is good work. Cross back in. Oh, and it's just wide there. Once more by India Jenks.
And India Jenks has never stopped working in this entire game, with or without the ball. She's really, really fighting for a goal for her team.
And Maddie Cooley with a couple of crosses there that really resulted in something special for Gonzaga, but couldn't turn it home.
And that ball was not far off the upper corner of the goalpost.
Ball called. Restart for San Francisco.
And the referee in a very good position to make that call.
Smithers down the field for Madison. 1v1 here, and she's offside with 8 minutes to go.
Wow, that's really surprising. I wasn't watching their back line, but that's a really bad mistake to be offside. If, in fact, she was on a free kick like that. It's actually quite hard to be offsides. And again, it's about who can create the space up front in their offensive third of the field.
Helenihi down the field, looking for Madison. Jennings getting in a tussle here with McKenna Ferreira. Ferreira. I do apologize, I've been mispronouncing that name tonight. And the offside flag is raised on the near side here. And so, restart again for San Francisco. 7 minutes and 10 seconds to go.
Well, you kind of hate, as fans the game, you kind of hate to see the game end in a draw. But it's also extremely defeating for the opponent who comes out with a goal at the very end against them. Let's see how this game can finish up.
Humphrey still with possession on the right, tackled away, and it's going to be an important free kick for San Francisco now. Not in total danger zone for Gonzaga, but again, enough to maybe just put a cross in there.
Well, anytime you have a set piece, it's always going to be dangerous, especially with Samantha Jennings on the ball. Now look for the knockdown and the follow-up attack by USF. Obviously, Gonzaga is going to try to prevent that knockdown and clear the ball first time, far enough away from the goal.
Lots of yelling and shouting. Samantha Jennings into the area, brought down here by Weeks. First touch very high and up in the air. Jenks chasing and continues to chase. She wins possession here. Jenks switching the field. And it is Yukikul on the ball, who scored the equalizer for Gonzaga. Yukikul, she has a shot from distance, and Molly Eby's right there. She wants to get on with it with 5 minutes and 48 seconds to go. All the way down the field, looking for Samantha Jennings. Can she get there? She heads on to Madison. Micaiah Madison, though. And there is a foul called there. I think she's very upset and incensed at the referee. He kind of pulls back, and he looks like he's reaching for his card for a second there, but he lets her off with that one.
Well, it's
as the ball was trickling in her favor, in her pathway.
It's an emotional game, and the referee did a good job to let the play go. And that, may be the right call for the referee on that play.
Just have some news from Santa Clara. Santa Clara now defeats Portland by a score of 3-2. So that match has finished. They're probably watching this game now as well. It's important because there's a 3-way tie for third place in the conference, and Santa Clara has just gotten a big 3 points under their belt. It was a penalty kick to win it. Now, just under 5 minutes to go here, and Yuki Cool is just putting on a show here on this left side. Crosses the ball in, and it's just over the head of India Jenks. I think they were maybe asking for a penalty of their own, but Jenks right back up. And as you said, she has worked her socks off all night.
But that was a fine cross, wasn't it?
It was an absolutely delightful cross. Yuki Cool, so comfortable with the ball at her feet. Again, 4 goals on the year, scoring the equalizer. We're just around 4 minutes away from both of these two sides having a point under their belts. I'm sure Gonzaga wouldn't mind the point, but San Francisco wants 3. But who doesn't want 3? Here's Weeks, Teufel to chase, cleared away. Throw in Gonzaga just in front of the Bulldog bench. It is starting to become pretty chilly here at Negawesco Stadium.
Gonzaga really turning things on here in the last part of this game. Really pushing to go ahead in this game 2-1.
Jennings, Beth Ann Perry, and she wins a throw just around central midfield. 3 minutes and 10 seconds to go. Both teams really trying to kick on here. Here's Villegas. Jennings chasing, Madison in there. She puts her hands to her side. Jennings on the turn, still Jennings, top of the 18. San Francisco now having a chance to send numbers up. Jenks trying to turn, and Smithers fouls her. And the referee stops the clock here and probably will go to the book. So, Smithers goes to the book. Free kick here to Gonzaga. The clock stopped on 2:27 exactly at Negawesco Stadium. Charles Wolin, Joe Dugan with you. We've taken this all the way to the limit. Service in by the goalkeeper, Jones. Jenks is in there. Eby has to chase. Eby makes a fine save there on Alasia Lane, and Lane wins a corner. So 2 minutes to go, and Alasia Lane and the Gonzaga Bulldogs
not letting go.
And they want to get on with it quickly. If it's anyone, it's Alasia Lane. Crossed on in, headed away by Villegas. Served back in. Nicole Kelsey's there. Gonzaga continuing to press. Smithers heads away.
And you can see it looks like Gonzaga just is winning these 50-50 balls. They're getting to the ball first. It seems like they want the ball more than USF at the moment.
Certainly every 50-50. Beth Ann Perry trying to clear it, just can't. 1:30 to go. Here's Micaiah Madison trying to get something on for herself, trying to weave her way through. And the referee does call a foul. So San Francisco is able to send some numbers up. 1:15 to go. Kalena Teufel, KK as they call her, getting to the end line and cleared away. And a foul at the end. So Gonzaga breathes a sigh of relief here. And as they do, the clock will continue to click down. So they'll have a chance to serve the ball into the San Francisco half. The goalkeeper stops. Is there something for Gonzaga now? 45 seconds to go. Goes out in front of the San Francisco bench. 42 seconds to go now. Both sets of players want something. Now, Micaiah Madison, she's got a step. She's onside. Madison still with possession. Madison back to her right foot. Madison, it's Weeks. Oh, and it's just wide. Oh, Izzy Lucan. What a chance there. And I think she got a little bit knocked in her forehead there, potentially. Yes, it was a bit of a forehead knock by the defender, 1v1.
Wow, I did not.
And she's right back up on her feet and ready to go.
And the defender for Gonzaga also may have got the worst of it. But fair play to both of them, getting back up, walking off on their own. If it's not a head injury, they do not have to come off the field. Looks like Izzy Lucan will be substituted just because looks like she got a knock in the back and came down on the defender, really stretching her back. Or hopefully she'll be okay.
23 seconds to go here. Coach Jim Millender asking his players to push up. You can hear him all the way on this side of the field. Madison all the way back to the goalkeeper, who's able to collect. Perhaps Jim Millender knew the goalkeeper wasn't going to be able to get the ball all the way down the field with 12 seconds to go. Clock clicking down now. And offside is called here. So, at the end of 110 minutes at Negoesco Stadium, it is a share of the spoils between these two sides. They're going to have to settle for a point each. Gonzaga will go to 10 points, and they will go into a statistical tie for third place. San Francisco will go to 8 points and sit right where they are currently right now in the 6th position with a ginormous must-win game for them on Sunday. A huge, huge game because Portland lost tonight to Santa Clara. Santa Clara now on 12 points, joining BYU at the top of the table. The two table toppers, and just below them is Pepperdine and Gonzaga. So 12-12, 10-10, and then 9 and 8. San Francisco in the 6th position. I want to thank everyone that tuned into this broadcast across the country, across the world, wherever you are. Thank you so much for helping to grow the game of soccer in this country, the United States of America, by tuning into this broadcast. That's exactly what you do. We appreciate your patronage and tuning in this evening. Well, we've got a muddled conference on the women's side here on the West Coast Conference, and it's still muddled. For everyone that works on our production team, camera 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, everybody back in the control room, we appreciate